lice? When did the louse appear genetically? And you look at the DNA of the louse. But what are louses? Louses are lice, but they feed on fabric, the clothing. So genetically, they came into being. At what point? Because when man developed clothing, animals started infesting the clothing. Amazing shit. And they said, well, okay, about, I think they said like 70,000 years ago, or 140,000 years ago. It was sometime like that. No, it could be 140. It's because the limit that they're placing it at is like, well, the very narrow estimate is 10,000, and the very far is 100,000. That we were still like, that we still had, we're living as apes and in Africa. But, yeah, stuff like that. And then something else was how they're addressing religious issues, too, on those shows. Like, well, who is this guy, Stephen Colbert was going on about, who is, saying, what, maybe we should talk about the environment. Maybe we should talk about global warming and this and that. Or there's global warming, and then we should talk about the war in Iraq. And maybe we should talk about economy and stuff like that. It's like, well, maybe religion should focus less on sex, and that's what it is. It's sensational, so that's why, and it's going to get people fired up, and it's also going to interest people. That's the thing. There's a whole publicity sent around it, because frankly, that's what happens in American culture. Is that it's whatever has most publicity will get the most attention, and if it has most attention, then the agenda is going to get across. Revolution of ideas, explosion of thought. Anyways, it'd be awesome if I could make some shirts that said that, but I need to develop a following. Anyways, because I am no Ask a Ninja, but I hope what I'm expressing to whoever's watching this, it is inspiring you to think. And if you're carrying on a conversation with me in your mind, or aloud even if you want, do it. Talk over me. Go for it. I don't mind. Just think about it, and that's what I'm doing. So my thing. But what was I getting on about? Yeah, those shows should be uploaded to YouTube. They serve a public benefit. That is, and what I really like about Stephen Colbert is that he's a good actor. But what it is that he's playing a character of himself, or a caricature of himself, because you got to realize he is a devout Catholic, and he is devoutly conservative, or he's not devoutly conservative, but he does identify with conservative ideals, and because that's who he is as a person. He's also an actor, which means he has a flamboyant side. So that's what comes out. But he tells, and Wednesday's show was, perfect, spot on about, what he ideals, or like what he says and feels. And you know what? What I like about it? Because here's something else he did. This is why Wednesday shows is so amazing. He addressed all these other issues that have been in the public eye and scrutiny of Congress when Republicans were in power, and they say, and what does Stephen Colbert say? He says, you know what? Impeach him. What about all of these other issues? Why are you distracting us now with this Umberto Gonzalez and firing 8 lawyers thing? I think, if anything, if I was a politician, and especially if I had at my disposal so many people, I could waste people away any way I wanted to. So, yeah, this is my personal political opinion. It's not going to interfere with my ability to work for the government, by the way. It's just, if you want to know my personal political opinions, I am neutral. And the reason why is because I'm not really that knowledgeable about politics. I have my own little opinion. It's not going to interfere in any job I do. If people around me want to discuss, that's the thing. I like talking to the people I work around. When I worked in Hawaii, there was a guy who sat behind me, and he had a bumper sticker above his work site that read, "My president is Charleton Heston." And he was a really intelligent guy, and he was strongly in support of the Second Amendment. And he gave some very interesting notion. He said, when they pass laws that people can carry concealed weapons, crime goes way down. Because criminals aren't going to mess with somebody if there's a chance that person is armed. So you can imagine little old ladies, men who they have some bling bling on, women who have because they live alone, because they live in a certain job situation, they can carry a gun. They can protect themselves. They can protect themselves from being raped. By the way, I'm not a father, but I'm pretty sure if I had a daughter, I would be worried about her getting raped, and I would enroll her in self-defense classes. I would buy her mace. I would tell her about predators, It's like, and because I'm a guy and there's stuff you do to women, and but then I also realized, there's people who rape and they get a sexual interest on that, and that's another thing about the Daily Show. They had on the guy who was Catch a Predator. And Jon Stewart, who's a father, said, you know what? I'm glad you have this. I have a whole new appreciation of what you're doing. It's lowbrow entertainment, but it's a public service. You deserve that recognition for this public service. And yeah. Because I'm sure as soon as I become a parent, I'm going to be watching that show, It's like, all right, when do they come to my neck of the woods, But, so that's part of my just whole explosion of ideas and revolution of ideas. Explosion of thought, revolution of ideas. My catchphrases. So I can say, hey, I've used that. So if it comes out in a movie or whatever, I'm going to be like, hey, I demand royalty, It's like, if you're going to say that, say my name afterwards. That's all I want, in the script. If you want, if you use those two terms, just throw my name in there. Say like that guy, Sky Animal. So, a little plug for me, But anyways, because that's what I love about Attack of the Show as well. Attack of the Show is so interactive, and that's why I'm glad they're allowing me to upload the video of their shows to YouTube. But I kind of wish they'd do it themselves, because it's a lot of work on my part, which I could be writing. In fact, that's kind of the thing I should be writing. But when you write, and it's hit or miss, but also, well, I got this job I want to get, and I want to prove, this is why I'm recording the show. I wanted to basically show to an employer, I didn't get a job because of where I was working. I didn't want to take my mind off of what I was doing, and what I was doing was writing, but I was also uploading this show. So I was keeping myself busy, and I was focusing on a task, and this was all my task was. This is a task I set for myself, and I didn't expect to get paid for it, but I expected it to have a payoff, And so you can imagine this is what interns, or this is why you become an intern, you pay for yourself, but you basically work and you're learning a trade. So that's something else to consider, is that you can always be an intern, but you got to have parents supporting you. You got to have some money, there to support you. But God, if I could be an intern and be an Attack of the Show, oh my God, I think I would. In fact, that's where I would have spent my college years, doing that. Because God, Kevin Pereira is so mean. Tear, lay sigh. That's the thing. I mean, it's amazing what this guy's doing and able to accomplish. And that's the same thing with Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart. They can kind of say what they want, and they can just get away with a lot of things. And it's entertainment, and it's educational, and it's enlightening, and it's a kindred spirit too. So yeah, you watch what basically you watch and you in tune. You feel like you are in concurrence with a train of thought, because it's there's spirit and there's in tune. So if you're watching me, it's because you're in tune with me, or maybe you're just mildly entertained, because you just think I'm ridiculous and you laugh at me. But I hope that's not the case. But yeah, wouldn't that be funny? Like, you videotape yourself listening to me, or like watching me and just laughing and insulting me. Which would actually, I kind of wouldn't mind, because that is the ultimate thing, but it's also parody and whatever, something. So, could I stand that? But anyways, could I watch that? But I think other people could. People watch anything.